Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of She Sells Weed. We are back. We are your hosts. I am Mindy.
I'm Jax.
And we have a lovely guest. Before I introduce our guest, I'd like to thank our sponsors. So thank you to the Pocket Dispensary and thank you to Delta Voice Dispensary.
That's right.
Our heart and souls are in
can't do it without
places. So come through and check it out.
Yeah.
And we have our
always the best menus.
Amazing friend, Diana D, here with us today on the podcast. She goes by on Instagram, Huynh_hi. And Diana has been such a pillar in the movement, in the community, anything that people are doing. There's a lot of action going on in the cannabis industry for advocacy, for community building. And I've always been so inspired on the good work that we can do together as a community. So thank you for coming on.
Thank you for having me.
You're welcome.
You so
Thank
much
you.
For thinking of me and just sharing this safe space. I'm really, really happy to be here.
Well, we're super happy to have you. And she's right about the event. I mean, we'll just dive straight in that because I think everybody will say that if there's an event going on in Sacramento, you usually have a hand in it in some way, if not completely organizing it yourself. So, and you always do a fantastic job. They're always so well done and thoughtful, and you know, everybody has a good time and goes home safe and sound. You know,
and
so
it's not even smoking or cannabis events; it's nonprofit events.
Yeah.
It's giving back, and that's something that I think a lot of us want to do more, but really give respect to the people who actually go out there and do it and are more hands-on.
Yeah, I am very blessed and very grateful to have grown up in a very like community type vibe. You know, I come from a very big family.
Yeah.
My mom and my dad are both like one of 9 or 10. So like my dad,
Huge family.
yeah, huge. And each one of my aunts and uncles have like 3 to 5 kids. And majority of us live in Sacramento.
Oh my gosh.
And so like organizing family gatherings, just coming together.
Prepared you.
Yeah, no, really, I'm serious. We have like years of like getting together, like traditions, just building traditions and just doing things together, you know? And like that, just having that and growing into that space, like it really showed like the power of just having people together and like sharing resources, sharing knowledge, and like how it, you know, how it helped took us from Vietnam, which is where our family immigrated from.
Oh,
literally
really? Okay.
Fresh off the boat, you know, after the war. And I was like firstborn daughter from my mom's side here. And so
were your parents refugees or did they just leave?
refugees.
Oh, they were refugees.
Yeah,
Wow.
So my my mom's father, my grandfather, he was in the war.
Wow.
And so, he, after the war, after the U.S. left, he was in prison
Yeah.
as a traitor.
Yeah.
He did prison for 10 years. And so
Wow.
after he was out of prison, he could only take 5 of his 10 children. So he took his 5 youngest children, which included my mom, and brought them to the States.
Wow.
Yeah, but for my dad, they did the whole boat
The whole thing. Yeah. Wow.
So just
where did he arrive at too? When he first really in Stockton?
My family's we got sponsored by a monk in Stockton. So
Oh my
grandpa,
gosh.
my mom, they first came to stayed in Stockton, stayed in a temple, and then after that immigrated to Sacramento.
Yeah, they have a lot of temples over there in Stockton.
Ride.
Yeah, it is. I love these stories.
My grandpa, so I'm like, hey, you went to the war, did prison, just so I can smoke weed every day.
I'm sure he loves that.
He just like hits
Probably-
my head.
yeah.
It was just
Probably why you're such a rebel too. You're like, no, I'm not gonna. We're gonna fight for our.
Hey, Vietnamese people are badass people. I mean, that's why we had to leave. The U.S. had to leave was because they just couldn't fight them anymore. It was like tiger traps and stuff. So you're not, you know, they're tough people. So
resilient,
very tough.
Just resilience, like learning that
Yeah.
you can literally uproot your entire life and build a community out.
How scary.
Just, you know. Yeah, and it's just really amazing to see. And since, you know, growing up like that, always being in like a temple space, we're always giving back in temple too. So like on weekends, we'll go and we'll pray. Our family always donates it. We all like, our family's cooking in the kitchen. I remember being a kid just washing the dishes.
When you say temple, what religion is that attached?
Buddhism.
Oh,
Buddhist. Yeah,
okay.
I'm raised
Very
Buddhist.
cool.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
You know, everybody talks about Buddhism so much, but I feel like you never actually meet somebody who practices it. Yeah.
Buddhism really, it's like more than a religion. I feel like it's a lifestyle.
It is.
You know what I mean? And it's just like, just applying it to just so many different things also just helped me through it, you know, like just do
a lot of like peace, you know, is what a lot of the different things I hear about Buddhism is a lot of peace in that religion.
It taught me the value of being present and how it helps end suffering. And I think that's why we all work in weed, is that we all kind of want to end suffering at some level. And in the Buddhism teachings, it's that you must be present to end your suffering, because if you're living in the present or the past, then you're not being here, and that's going to cause you to have problems. And that one thing like has stuck with me forever from that religion. Out of all the things, I think everybody thinks always of like good luck and everything like that. I'm like, no, it's about ending suffering. That's what that whole religion's about. It was created out of China, right, when they needed to add like a femininity to that culture, right? Like Buddhism helped add like a femininity to the Chinese culture, right? I love history.
I'm starting to like really learn more into it, because I just grew up in it, you know. I just in it because my parents told me like that's what it is. But now as I get older, I'm like actually living. I'm like, oh wow, like so I picked up like a little book. I'm like, okay, this is actually
just so cool. It is. Have you ever thought about going to the Himalayas to
and do like a retreat?
Go give your respects to the mountains and stuff.
My aunts do that. They go to India and they do the whole thing. I'm just like, dude, that's so cool.
Yeah, it is. It's like, that's the one thing like I'm actually happy about with the whole Everest thing, is that they're starting to ban the amount of permits and stuff up there, because the Buddhists and the religious people are like, that's our sacred mountain and it's being covered up in poop and people, and it's not what it's meant for. And I agree with that totally, because I think that's why that mountain is only allowed certain people to actually climb it, prior to like all the people using other people now and technology.
I think real spiritual people, you know, understand and believe that the mountain is alive.
Yeah.
So when you get like different people that don't really understand that,
it's true.
So you got to pay respect.
It's not just an adventure. It's a whole thing. Yeah. So that's beautiful. Very cool. Well, that explains so much about you so quickly. How funny. It's like, here's why.
Basically, I am exactly who I was, a product of my environment.
Yeah, that's very cool. That is so cool.
So back, events like, so just like, I just also really love weed. Like, weed is just, ever since I was introduced to it, I was just like, oh, this is an amazing plant.
How did you get introduced to weed?
So my older brother. I feel like most people in the world is like an older sibling, right?
Yeah, I was the older sibling. Yeah,
and that's like an
my older sister too. Right? Yeah, I was like, what are you doing?
I was just saying, everyone's like, oh yeah, kids are gonna get to access with too many dispensaries. Like, you never see kids in the they're getting it from their sibling.
Yeah, exactly. If they have an older sibling and a big family, for sure.
But funny, because he like let me like see it and smell it, but he didn't let me smoke it with him and his friends. He was, like, a year older than me, but he was like, you can't smoke it. Like, it's you're too young, you're gonna get addicted. And then he was like, but you can roll it for us. So my brother would have me roll. I learned how to roll before I could smoke.
Oh my god!
Yeah, so I was like,
you earned your right to smoke. Huh?
I was that little sister that just wanted to hang out.
He's like, fine, you can roll some joints then.
Right? Yeah, I actually rolled blunts first.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So it was blunts first. At the time, back then it was like
everybody
was playing. So he's like, we were smoking, and like we had a lot of friends too. So like we were getting like swishers like by the box, and just like rolling them. And so
that was a big deal when you could buy a whole box of swishers.
Yeah, like, we have a lot of friends you can like pitch in together. But we would go on like these trips and stuff too. So like our friends in my high school, like we've all grew up together from like elementary school, junior high to high school. So we would go on like cabin trips and just like get super high and stuff like that. And that was like so fun. That was like my first, like weedy like thing.
We could do all the fun stuff, but also smoke weed while we're doing it.
We talked about that like the first couple times we ever smoked with friends, and like getting to smoke it all, or getting the money together to like buy it together, and how different it was back then for us, as young people.
Yeah, but I didn't like that my brother didn't let me smoke, and so what sucked that since he didn't let me smoke, I had to like sneak around behind his
Of course.
because I was curious,
Yeah.
just like any other teenager was like, I was curious to experience. So it's like me and one of my best friend, like we had another friend who picked us up and was like, and we tried. It was a blunt my first time, and I didn't get high. And they're like, oh, because you didn't inhale it, right?
Oh.
So right, and so I was like, okay, let's try it again. And so smoked, and I was just like, this is fucking dope, you know. And like and it was sort of recreational, just super funsies. Growing up, like my parents separated when I was 10, and they both like moved out of state. So my mom lived in like Texas, and my dad moved to Missouri, and so it's just like me and my siblings.
Complete opposite of California.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
And so just like we always had friends over. We were just out. We were just like rebel children. I was just being rebellious.
Street kids.
Like,
Yeah.
We were just outside. You know what I mean?
Out
and
in
just,
the streets.
Yeah. And so so we were just like curious, and so I was just smoking weed. And it's like friends come over. Our house was a safe house. Our house was one that our best friends would come over, and we can just hang out together and just hit the bong together. You know what I mean? So it was like, and it was nice to have that and do that, and my boyfriend at the time, he didn't like that I smoked, and he was just like, that's not cool, because he was like very Catholic family. He was like, that's very bad.
Yeah.
My parents would not approve. Like, no.
It's hard when like people that are close to you, like don't approve of what you're doing.
And like he, very aspiring doctors. So he was like very into like the health,
Yeah.
And so at first he was like totally against it, and then when I introduced him to it, completely changed his mind, and now he was like, oh my gosh, like this is medicine. I'm like, exactly. Like, you get it. You know? And like as he like, his name's Justin, and so like he like just, and it really, before I was like, okay, this is just weed, but then I looked at, oh, this is actual like a real plant. You're right, and we would talk about, oh, that's like, the pharmacy should be like next door to dispensaries and stuff like that, and just like really learning about the actual plant. So we'd look up we just like get random books and just learn
as much.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's very limited information too, so it's like, how do we learn
back
more
then there
about
was
it?
I mean, other than like the internet, I mean, you had to like find internet forums and things like that to get the information.
How to find forums,
Did you ever use forums?
No, I just use Pinterest, because I'm a visual learner, so Pinterest is full of graphics.
Well, and you must be younger than me, because Pinterest came along way past my generation. So I'm like, I don't even use Pinterest. I'm like, I've never even been on the app. But for us, it would have been like internet forums, which are just like text boards where people like start like a big group chat and like share information. And like I learned how to grow solely from that, like from people just sharing information on the internet.
For me, it was Instagram. Like the comments, you would scour through the comments, and then people would be asking questions like in the comments.
And then there's always somebody who like wants to take their day off to like answer every comment, and like go back and forth all day with these people.
And Leafly too was a
Leafly's
huge
great. Shout out to Leafly. They have like iffy, but I think that for the average beginning consumer, it's a good resource to get you started.
I do believe also that even though it's like we all smoking it recreational and call it recreational, and people come in looking for that, majority of people that smoke weed, it is for a medical reason. Yeah. Like even to calm down, to de-stress. Like I live a stressful ass life. Like I need medical
I agree.
to help me deal with that stress, or else I'm gonna go crazy. Yeah. So we all, all of us. So there is so many different things to learn about, even what we're going through, that we can connect to the plant and see how, we can move forward with that. Mm-hmm. I do know that you had mentioned something about, something happening in your life and you moving towards cannabis. So can you elaborate and tell us your story?
Of course, yeah. So, I'm like going to college, and college is like my first time getting to step out of like Sacramento. My mom actually got pregnant my senior year of high school.
Where'd you go to college?
UC Merced.
Okay.
And she said, you can't go to college. I need you to stay in Sacramento and help me take care of this baby. And I was like, I can't do anything for you right now. I was like, I've been forging your signature my entire life. Like, I'm going to put myself through college.
Yeah.
So I got into UC Merced. It's like the newest UC. And so Justin and I both go there. And like, we just like always have weed there, And so we like graduate, and he goes to medical school. And after his first years of medical school, he passes on a motorcycle accident on the island. Yeah. Oh. And it was like crazy because I was like, you know, just like, whoa, we just
out
like
of nowhere.
Like we did everything. Like I got, you know, we did college, we did everything that we were supposed to do. Like,
and then he just dies.
I'm like, whoa, my life just like completely just like felt like it just flipped. You know, I was like, I didn't know what I was doing. I was like, my person, and I couldn't roll joints. He was my roller. You know what I mean? I was like, oh my god, I can't roll a joint. Like, what am I gonna do? No, but it just, you know, and it was just really hard, and like. I was just, I was like crying on my way to work every single morning. Just like crying. I was like, what am I going to work for? Like, what am I doing? Like, I have no idea what my purpose in life was. You know, like, I just didn't know what to do. Yeah. And I was just like, all I knew was I loved to smoke weed. Every day I woke up, I was just like, oh, I have a bong next to my bed. And my mom was like not cool with like us smoking at home and stuff like that. Like, she shut down parties before. If she smelled weed, came out, screamed, told them, get the fuck out of my house. Like, no. Oh, yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah. But when we lost Justin, like, I just like couldn't leave my room.
You're like, I was like, this is it.
In my bedroom, and she would just let me be. You know what I mean? Yeah. Yeah, so it was like, but that's what I knew. What helped me, you know, was like you just wake up and you just feel just like
the grief.
Yeah, and that's heavy.
It's heavy.
And it's like to have a bong, just like.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you don't know what people are going through on the day-to-day basis because those are things that you can't see. Like, you know, like you're feeling a certain way and it's like you can't function, but yet when people look at you, they're like, "Oh, you look normal, right?" What?
It's like, I'm trying to sit up now.
Yeah.
And it was even harder because like my little sister at the time, she's like 6 years old. Like she would come into my bedroom and she would be like, "It's okay, I miss him too." I'm like, oh, like, there's like little ones watching me. So I'm like, I need to get up. You know what I mean? Like, but I really appreciated that too.
Yeah.
But weed really helps.
Yeah.
And like events, like you said, just getting out and being around people really helps.
It does.
And so, a week right before he had passed, I went to Coachella. I had like 8 campsites with all of my friends. I had drewn up a whole blueprint of where everyone's gonna park, where everyone's gonna put their tents and everything.
You're organizing people going to Coachella.
Yeah. Hilarious. And one of my girlfriends was like, "Hey, can my friends come stay with us?" I'm like, "Sure, that's no problem. You know, your friends are our friends." They come and they hand me a pineapple sticker, and I'm just like, interesting. I was like, cute, whatever. Yeah. I put the pineapple sticker on my hydro, and I was like, cool. And they're like, smoke, and I was like, oh, you guys are cool. I was like, yeah. And it's Justin, Jacinto. And that's how I first met Justin.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
So I just met Justin and Jenica.
Well, and he obviously put you with
a pivotal time.
Yeah,
I know. Like everything happened at once.
It was crazy. Yeah. And so like, you know, he had me a cigarette. We were like, I like loved them. Like literally smoked the whole time because my friends like stopped really smoking then. So like I didn't really have any people to smoke with anymore. So like
it is such a community thing. Yeah. It is such a community thing, and we were talking about that too. But like when you smoke by yourself, like it is very medicinal. Yes. Like and you use it medicinally. But when you're using it in a social setting, it's like such a different experience than by yourself.
Medicine too.
Yeah.
Right. Like people.
Yeah.
And I call everything medicine just because like that's how like I spiritually understand things. I'm like birds are medicine.
Yeah.
Like songs are medicine.
Sounds are medicine. Everything is medicine.
Laughter is medicine, Mindy. We know. Yes, I agree with you. No, I understand what you mean by that, and I think our audience understands what you mean by that for sure. But yeah, it is. I mean, it's all therapy. It's all helping. And I was going to say too, it's like smoking weed when you're grieving that way or you're ill. It does not affect you in the same way it would when you're like you today. You know, you taking in your bedroom, taking bong rips would make you ketosis, and you would probably be a very unproductive person. But at the time, you know, it really is a testament to like use weed when it is providing you the great amount of benefit, but stop using weed when it's not, you know? And like you said, like sitting there doing bong rips is what got you out of the bed. And some people couldn't understand that unless they've ever tried weed. But I agree with you. I've lost somebody very instantaneously and dear to me as well. And weed was there for me. It's always been there for me. You know, personally, like I've found that cannabis backs me up when nobody else is. And I don't necessarily believe in God, but I 100% believe in cannabis and its power to heal people. And back to your Buddhism, like I think it has something to do with a higher power and a higher connection to the higher thing. Like that's the other thing about Buddhism, and correct me if I'm wrong, but there's like levels to life, right? Like of your experience of like your transition into like the higher like consciousness. How do we reach
enlightenment?
Yeah, we right. Like, and I feel like cannabis is a part of that.
About that too.
Oh yeah, let's hear
my
it.
spiritual journey through grief
yeah,
too. Like,
I love it.
Yeah, like So before, like I said, when I was younger, I would just go to the temple just because my parents brought me there. I would light the incense just because they told me to. I would just bow and like say whatever, and I would just do it. And I would, but and when I asked them, like, what do I say when I light the incense? I guess I'm a kid. I'm like, what do I do? And they're like, well, you speak to your ancestors. You can say hello to, we have like my grandpa on the altar. Like we have photos of them on the altar.
Okay.
You like greet them and you can like wish for something, wish for
it's like the Day of the Dead, but every day.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, they're always there.
Exactly.
Yeah.
They're always there.
Chilling,
Because we only also believe like the basic science is energy cannot be created or destroyed. It can only be transferred.
It only transfers.
So it exists. The fact that it ever exists, it means that it exists.
Correct.
You know what I mean? And that means they're there.
Correct.
And so that's, and so like before I would like be speaking to like my grandpa and stuff like, but like I was a kid, I didn't really have a relationship with him like that. But now after Justin had passed and had lit my first like incense, I was like
trying to communicate to somebody.
Like, not just talking, but like but communicate. But, like, you can't. Oh, sorry. You can't like open up, the porthole, the channel of just doing things with intention and really being present.
Yeah, the intention.
Yes, being in the moment, being present in the moment, and setting the intention, and like just even setting your thoughts to be in that type of space and like into that kind of, you know what I mean, and allowing to receive that.
It's like a belief too.
I
believe in it.
Right.
Yeah.
That's why I don't mess around with none of that witchy poo stuff that people be messing around with, where like they're like, oh, this is just fun. I'm like, I don't play with anything, because like you said, like it's the intention changed it dramatically for you. You've been doing that your whole life as a kid, nothing, and the moment you put intention behind it, it becomes something. So our thoughts definitely dictate our reality for sure.
Absolutely.
So, did you have a moment? Did he ever come to you? Has he ever come to you, like in your dreams and stuff?
He has.
Yeah.
Yeah. Actually, I have this very vivid one where it's like early in the in my grief, and I just had, but early in that year, we had this this New Year's resolution to like travel, and do travel a different month every single city.
Fun.
And then when he passed, I had this like survivor's guilt. I'm just like, do I keep going? Do I keep living? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so like I had this dream, and he came, and we were like at the airport. Oh, sorry.
It's okay. I was supposed to get you tissues. I forgot. No, it's okay. Go ahead.
I like remember jumping into his arms, and then he like whispers in my ear like, "Live for me."
Aww.
And I was like, I have to now.
Yeah.
I have to go. Yeah. It's like, do everything that anybody who wanted to do, So like, that's why I'm like, yes.
He just wanted to see you happy.
Yeah, like, smoke that weed.
Yeah.
Go hop on that plane, do that trip, just do
live.
it. You know what I mean?
Live.
Like, that's the best thing that we could do for them, like.
It's so true.
And so it's like, and so it's like, what would he like want to like, what do I want him to like see me doing? Like he wants me to be outside, meeting new people, you know what I mean? Going to events, having fun, and so that's why I was so grateful for like, so it was such great timing meeting Justin and Jenica when they did, because I, since I had lost him right after, that was my year of just traveling, so I was like, what do I do? So a year later, when Coachella came back around, they reached out helping to like sell tickets to Coachella. Like, what you been doing? I was like, traveling, crying,
living,
doing,
living.
And I was like, I don't know. And so Justin's like, we have a booth at High Times Cal Expo. Come work the booth. And I was like,
what year is that?
2019. And I said, fuck it. I have nothing to lose. Let's go. I'm game, And so I like go to Cal Expo, hop in the vent, do the booth, and I'm just like, this is so fucking cool. This is crazy.
If your first exposure to being in the industry is a weed event, it is fucking wild.
Like, you can do this in Sacramento? And it was so cool because there was this old lady.
You're like, how long has this been going on for? They're like, forever?
I just got from college. I was like, what is going on? I was like, what did I miss?
You're like, I love weed. And there's weed everywhere.
People, where have you been? Yes,
I was like,
exactly.
It was just so cool. Like, it's just like random, just like community, so many different types of walks of people, There's like people FaceTiming her. I saw this lady FaceTiming her sister from like Georgia, and she was like, look what I'm doing on Saturday, sis. Like, just handing me a joint. I was like, yo, this is so cool.
I think that was the first like legalized weed event in Sacramento at Cal Expo. Yeah.
So cool.
It was.
It just changed. changed my entire life.
Yeah.
Changed my entire life, and just they hired me on the spot, and so when that was the first event. So I was doing events, but the first real job that I did on the payroll was I was doing dispatch, and so which was cool because Humbroo is a delivery service, and since I was like, hey, I wanted to learn more about weed, what better way than to be
selling it
exactly. And so if I didn't know what the answer was, I had to find the answer, and so that was a quick way of having me learn what I really loved, and I thought that was really cool.
Because you're dealing with people and the product at the same time at that, right? Because you're taking calls from customers and then getting people to their product, right? Yeah. Right. So I mean, that's the best way to learn for sure.
And they can't see it, so they're probably asking way more questions too. What is this?
Does it look good? Does it look crafty?
Question.
Is it just a percentage? Does it actually look good? Yeah. Does it smell like old weed?
Yeah. And then also the challenge with delivery is that we don't have that face-to-face interaction with members, so we have to get creative.
You guys are mostly online, right? That's supposed to be how everybody interacts with you guys. Right. Yeah, wow, that's gotta be tough.
It is, and that's why we do events, and that's why I do events on as a side for it. So as pop-ups, because that's the only way we can have a physical presence. You know what I mean? Everybody knows about Humbroo because
I think you guys are the only delivery service I think of as even taken that route as far as being a part of the community. I can't think of another delivery service that's active like that, where you guys are I don't really know. I mean, dispensaries do because they do it at their own storefronts. But as far as you guys, it's very smart. It's very smart marketing wise and advertising wise because you're becoming more than just a delivery service.
And that's what we want.
Yeah.
Because it is more than that. It's a lifestyle, right?
Everybody who I've met in that whole group of everybody has been some of the nicest, most genuine people I've met that own anything, as a group. As a group, they're really good.
Best big brothers.
Yeah. Finding the best people is the top thing that you could do when you're building anything.
Yeah, you got really, really lucky with that. Once again, you've got your guardian angel, right?
Yeah, and see, and that I do, and that's what I feel like. I was like, oh wow, guardian angels for real, and after learning about all this, I was like, okay, this is cool. And then my dad got diagnosed with cancer, stage 4 cancer, and he's like, okay, he has 4 months, and I'm just like,
Jesus.
Shit. Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm just like, okay, I have all this weed knowledge, right?
Yeah.
And all this access, all this product. He's like, no. That is bad for you. This is bad. Keep that away from me. I don't want it,
Yeah.
And so I was like, I didn't want to fight with
push,
him.
yeah.
And also want to respect him, but also know better. So his wife allowed me to take tinctures, and because he was complaining about the oxy, and which is understandable.
Yep.
He was like, I don't like that. I can't feel that I'm not there. I can't talk to you. I don't like that. I'm like, yeah. So let's replace it, and then and so HB gave me cream, so I got to massage his feet just to be able to relax. That was really nice, But it really sucked. To his very last breath, he was not open to it, but it changed my families, my aunts.
Yeah.
Because that very night, even just the night of my father's passing, I love telling this story, and it's because it's such a beautiful, beautiful way to pass. We have nurses in our family, so we could tell because he was in hospice. So we did
bring
hospice.
the mic a little closer to you. There you go. Perfect.
So near the very end of his life, he did hospice at home, and so that way he can be with everyone. And so we had nurses who could tell when it would be time, when with a certain numbers. And so when they knew, we had everyone come over, and all of his aunts, my cousins, we were in the bedroom, and we would do the chant, this Vietnamese chant, it's Namo Yida Bak, and we would say it over and over again in chanting, over again. For
the energy in that room was built to a crazy level. Dude. A crazy level.
Okay, what does it mean?
Listen,
what does the chant mean?
I googled what it means, but when I Google what it means, it's this is what the Namo Yida. It's you're praying to the I don't want to say God, but
God, to God, you're praying to God,
Namo praise, and it's and it was just the energy in that room, and this is the same chant that we always chant in temple too, what I mean? And so we're in this room, and we're saying this over together, and my dad just laying there, just hearing this, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And just
this
listening.
Vibration.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And then we literally
What
there was
an
this
intense
moment.
way to die. Like your whole family's just like, you're like, okay, like
You are
oh my
not, you know,
God.
not alone at all.
No.
Everything is there. Yeah.
Wow.
We literally watched his body like lift,
transform.
Wow.
Yeah.
And, like,
Transcend. Sorry.
and like and we continued to like chant to like keep
Oh
the
my
path
God.
open for him so he
Yeah.
can,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? And it was just fucking crazy.
What a
And, like,
crazy
and it was so
experience.
beautiful,
Wow.
and I made the call, had them come, watch them, bag them up, roll them out. The first thing I did was light a joint. I literally stood on the sidewalk, watched them drive off, like with my little sister watching from the window upstairs, and I just
That's
stood
it.
with my joint. My uncles came out and they smoked it with me.
Aw.
My cousins came out and smoked it with me because, like, what the fuck else are you gonna do in that moment?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like just being together and just like, and it was just
Wow, that's
yeah.
beautiful. That is
Yeah.
really beautiful. It's beautiful to have a family and a,
Yeah.
They
and a
sh-
whole
shows
thing like
up,
that.
like-
The culture.
You guys, like,
yeah.
show
Having a
up for
community
each other.
that's what I'm saying. You can
Community,
go
the
through
culture,
Yeah.
all of
hell
it.
on
Yeah.
earth, and if you have that solid, you can literally go through anything. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? And still get up and go
That's why
forward.
I think, that's why it's so important. I think that's what's great about weed is that it brings people together that maybe don't have that. You know,
Right,
I feel like a lot of us don't.
exactly.
You know,
And that's why I love curating events.
yeah.
I love just bringing people together who would not normally come together, and then it's just, you know.
I agree. I mean, I have a small family like that we get together. It's just my mom, like her husband, my brother, his wife, her daughter. And, like I think that all together we're like maybe 15 people when we all get together. But it's like so nice. But I could imagine like that times 10, like whatever, like for people who have like really big families like yours. I mean, if you were to count, you're probably like, you know, it'd take you a while, right? It's like I like that experience of having like that kind of backing behind you. Yes, it must be, you must feel like a wave. Like you're just like, you can just push because you've got this like behind you, you know, that's really beautiful. It obviously comes through so much in everything you do. Like everything you do, Diana, I mean, seriously, like every event, I know I don't make it to a lot and I apologize for that. I'm all the way out here.
gotta
Okay.
bring 'em here.
All right.
We gotta bring the events here.
I'm just saying like the things you do and the way you bring people together really shows. And it's really beautiful. Like I said in the beginning, like it's every event I ever go to. Like I want to get you connected to some of these bigger events. I think that you should go work with the big boys and really show them what's up. You know what I mean? I honestly, like, you'd be surprised. Like, there's people out there that don't do half as good of a job as you do for your events, you know?
I
And
think
it's not
that
just me too, though. You know,
Of course not, but we know that you...
it's the skill of organizing, right? Because
Yeah.
whether it's like
Yeah.
2 people, 5 people, 100 people, 1,000 people, it's like you got to know how to organize it and like put it together and have a good time, because it's like you're worried about, okay, are the people are the people having fun? Are the vendors having fun? Like, is everybody having fun?
Yeah, you're doing that. You're all like, the whole time, and then by the end you're like, okay, take picture. Okay, everybody go home now. But yeah, you're a little bee the whole time, you know. So I appreciate it though, because like I said, I've been to a lot of different events, and you know, we host like the Crawdad Festival out here, and I know I'll get you connected with the good old Bob. He would love the help, I'm sure, because we're gonna do it this year. And last year, I mean, we had Sugar Hill Gang here, so it's a big fun event, and we include us here. And this year, we're gonna, I know, right? The hip, It was a lot of fun. Like, it was a lot of fun.
Cool.
But we do like a whole weed thing over here too, because it's like so yeah, you should definitely, it would be fun, I think, to organize it and bring that atmosphere together. But yeah, like it's you're a very, very cool person, and I'm very grateful today that we got to like know more about you and where you come from, because that's a really beautiful story, you know. It's very unique.
Thank you. I really appreciate.
Thank you for sharing.
Yeah, I feel like, you know, I feel very grateful. It's like you said, it's like gardening.
I feel like you've shared
feel
like
I
the
can take
most
over the
deepest
world.
conversation that we've had on this show so far. I feel like we try to like pull it out of people, and everybody's like, and you've just like really like given it to like the audience. I'm so honored right now. I don't know what to say. Like, these stories you've told today are just like very intense experiences.
Yeah.
So, you know, psychedelic free too.
Yeah.
You know?
And imagine my family just like watching this unfold for me, you know, and that's why the golden ticket, the raw golden ticket, was also so special.
Yes,
like
that's
a
right.
whole, yeah. And so So yeah,
I remember when you told me that you won that, because I remember watching it all unfold online and everything. You know, I love my weed drama. We'll say it's like a little soap opera for me. When I remember talking with you about it, and you're like, "No, I won that," and I was like, "What?" And you're like, "Yeah, I'm going to that." And I was like, "You're like that's real?" And you're like, "Yeah,
right.
supposedly I'm going to the airport. We'll see."
I love, yes.
What? So how did that all go down? Let's hear that story. Because that is a crazy story too.
So basically, one of my my colleagues, centers, he like sent me a link to, it says Raw Golden Ticket, and I'm just like, what the fuck is this, right? So basically, founder of Raw, Josh, he basically plays Willy Wonka.
Yeah.
And offers a golden ticket, 10 golden tickets.
Because he was going through a lawsuit in Chicago at the time that was trying to say that his papers were just mass produced, that they don't actually come from like a factory or like a handmade situation the way he claims. And he ended up winning the lawsuit, but he really wanted to prove to the community, because once again, we're a community, and if you mess up, we cut you out quick.
Right.
So he wanted to prove to everybody that it was real. And so what was it, 10 people?
Yeah. And I was like, regardless real or not, I was like, we benefit because we get to go stay for free. It was like, you know, but it goes down. So
How many people was it in total?
There was 10 total.
10 total,
and it was
wow.
just like, you know, to basically how to enter is you had to submit a video.
Yep.
And it was like, there's like qualification. You go on Instagram or TikTok and you submit it, and you basically share like a trick, or, you know, share your story about.
What was yours?
Mine was that how cannabis helped me through
grieving
with Justin and my dad. Literally, that was it. And I was like, and how I found, you know, just how I found my community and stuff. Yeah,
and it's connected to travel too, because like that's what you wanted to do.
Wow, a lot of connection there. Yeah.
And so I was like, hopped on a plane, and it was so cool. It was just like, you know, we go in and you get under a roof with other people who just
won this golden ticket.
Like,
you felt like Willy Wonka, huh?
Yeah, literally, it was so cool. I met Riley Kirsch, awesome. Like, I've always like followed her on Instagram and stuff, you know, so I was like, that was really cool.
Is that the doctor lady?
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah. So it's like, she makes like educational, like easy, consumable, digestible, like, you know, information.
Content.
Yeah, and so it's awesome, and I love that. And so just like being around that, and I thought that was really cool. And then I also met Brandon there as well. Yeah, I met my boyfriend there, and it was really cool. Yeah,
he won one of the tickets too.
Yeah, which is awesome. And he's like from Georgia, so it's like we like really
the likelihood.
Exactly. Yeah. So it's just like, you know, he really like loves the plant.
Did he grow up in Georgia?
People come together.
Oh yeah, you got yourself a Southerner. I've got a Southerner too. They got a certain specialness to them. They're a little different than Cali people. Like,
love it. You know.
Yeah.
Just like, it's just so cool.
You guys have traveled a lot just recently, right? You've been all over, but we'll get ahead. So how was Spain? Like, how was seeing the papers made? I mean, is it everything that they claim it to be?
I mean, I don't really.
Did they make you sign an NDA? They're like, yeah, we're taking it to Spain, but just get it when you get home. Just let it go.
Yeah, no, everything was really cool.
Yeah.
You know, seeing like how the paper was made, like the gum and stuff like that. But I don't know why my favorite thing, the whole thing was just going to like the lounge out there and just being around.
Yeah.
You know, just smoking places. That was like my takeaway from the whole.
Because did he like take you guys all around and all? Oh, so you guys got like VIP, like raw guy treatment. Oh, it was really special.
You're like really cool.
They have the social clubs in Spain, right?
Yeah,
lounges.
The social club lounge. Yeah, cool. It was just really cool. And I was like, it was like set up for us, you know, to come. I was like, it was really cool. And then I was like, and I after the trip, it was a week-long trip. I chose to change my departing trip, and I stayed in Spain just to travel by myself.
Cool. Super fun.
Yeah, so I just like went to
Spain's really pretty.
Yeah,
it's very pretty.
It was so cool. And I just went out and just found places to smoke, and it was just so nice. I was like, this is amazing.
Do people just smoke out there, or is it only really restricted to the clubs, or do you catch people smoking out in public all the time? Yeah, it's like here, where it's like, you're not supposed to, but you know, I mean, what are you going to do?
It's inevitable.
Yeah. It's like stopping people from drinking in public, not going to happen.
But, you know, just seeing that experience, like my first time ever having that kind of experience was in Amsterdam. And I went to Amsterdam, and I thought it was so fucking cool. And I was like, yo, Sacramento is going to have one of these one day.
I love Amsterdam. It's such a fun place.
I was just like, yo, and I literally sat there, and I'm like manifesting it, intentions. Like, we are
on our way.
We are working to put this.
Is that why you came home so passionate for Sacramento? You're like, oh, no, I'm running this too. Like, get
smoking around the world, come back.
That's what I did. All of my travels, I looked for places that were legal just so I could see what the culture was like. I was like, what do they sell in their smoke shops? Like, I wanted to see what all the cool toys and cool gadgets they have, you know, like.
When you were doing the sax thing, I really appreciated that you brought, once again, some organization to the whole thing, where you made that video or the little thing about like, hey guys, like if we're going to talk, you know, here's some tips and tricks, you know? And I was like, that's really helpful, because I feel like a lot of people want to say things, but they've never been taught how to speak to, you know, city board people.
It's intimidating
to
go up there.
Yeah.
It's really scary.
So having somebody give some pro tips on like how to, you know, get yourself organized, I think it was really helpful for everybody, you know, and I appreciated just reading it, because I was like, oh, good. And then that time that everybody went up, everybody had like very sharp things to say. It was no more like, just like, this sucks. It was very like, you know, hey, like this isn't fair because of X, Y, and Z. And I was like, that's really good, because I feel like it makes our community look so much more organized than any other community that's probably going to the city boards and complaining about how they don't have things, you know. We try to be very, you know, organized and tactful in the way that we handle. I think that's why Weeds advance the way it is because everybody in Weeds like, okay, get it together. Like somebody takes over and helps really organize everybody, and then shit fucking happens, you know? So
huge shout out to Nina Parks. She like basically brought her blueprint from the Bay to us and like helped me apply it, you know, which is fucking amazing.
Shout out Nina.
Smart.
Yeah, and so she was like, hey, you need a town hall. And I was like, okay, I got a place. I know what time we can do it. I'll get snacks or refreshments, and then I'll get the people to pull up, and then I'll get the people there, and then, you know, and she was like, okay, cool. When the people get there, I will, you know, do the activities, and and that was awesome. It was just really cool, just like getting people there and just like doing intentional group activities. Like it wasn't just a regular event where people just go and just like smoke, which is awesome too. Like we had actual activities like together, like envisioning together. Like, okay, let's take everyone break up into like 4 groups and like numbered off so you aren't in the same group with the person you came with, you know. And
smart.
And so it's like just everyone answer the same question, like where do you want, like what do you want to see in Sacramento cannabis?
It's got to be consistent.
What do you want to allow? And just finding the common denominators, you know.
It's so hard to understand what you're going to say when you're up there because it's so intimidating. So that's super helpful, because a lot of people go and like, but they won't speak because, you know, they're like really afraid of what they're going to say, but we need them to.
Or how to say,
like, hey, like, you know, we're all a part of it. Like we're all putting this together. But that was a dope, you know, that wasn't, I was there.
I know,
I wanted to be there.
I was like, it's hard.
But no, it was cool, like that connection to like learning from like different people and like being in the equity trade and how like you have to connect, and we're connecting with now these different cities and these different places, and then, you know, you're going worldwide smoking on all these lounges. Like we're gonna go out there too, but it brings us all together.
It does. It really does.
So it's freaking awesome, and I just love how, you know, how much more the industry is going to grow and change. You know what I mean? Like this is just the beginning. People are just understanding their, you know, their impact, you know, and like I really think of it as basic science, atoms coming together, and it makes something, you know what I mean? We are
energy and vibrations.
We are just coming together and just making impact. We just have to keep coming together and just doing it. We do have the strength in numbers. And
for sure.
You know what I mean? And like having active things, and this letting people know, like,
if in numbers you can help your dad transcend into the heavens,
right?
Literally, that's been proven in today's conversation for sure. So getting together, you know, that's really what makes a difference, and I think that's, you know, that's the whole idea with what we're sharing. Why we're sharing this today is that we want to get people to realize like that you got other people that you can be a part of. So, anyways, well, is there anything else that you would like to share? You gonna smoke some more? We want to smoke some more? Let's do it. I'm down. Let me just let's just do a little quick pause really quick so I can change out our memory card, because this silly thing only wants to record for 44 minutes. So just a quick intermission. We'll be right back.
Intermission break.
Figure it out. But anyways, I grabbed some rosin while we were taking a quick break. So that's why jars have appeared if you're watching us on camera. So since we had a quick intermission from that beautiful story, but very deep conversation. I wanted to lighten it up and talk with you about some market stuff since you work for delivery. What is going on in the delivery world? How is things going for all of that? Are you seeing the same thing storefront retail is kind of seeing, where it's really tough, or do you feel like delivery is doing better than storefront retail? Like what do you feel like the market's doing right now as far as like the consumer, in a sense? You're kind of on a different spectrum than like Mindy and I. We do retail, I mean, she's got delivery now, but you guys just do straight delivery. What are you doing over there now? You said dispatch before, but what do you do now for them?
Now I just started doing sales.
Oh, okay.
I just started this last quarter, but before that I was just doing events and like marketing essentially.
Okay.
And so, to answer your question, like if delivery is doing better or worse than storefronts, like I wouldn't really be able to tell you. Okay. I'm not really sure. I know that we were like doing extended for a long time. Yeah. We used to go like all the way extended east, so we did shut down that route. But we do still service the greater Sacramento area, and we go all the way down to Tracy. So for delivery.
Do you guys come out here?
No.
Oh, okay. I don't think there's any deliveries out here.
Yeah, but that's why we still want a presence out here. So like to be in the store.
That's really far. Tracy's really far from Sacramento.
It is. We'll walk once a day.
Longer one.
So we basically let that entire route know, like, if you want to place an order to be on that route. We try to like prep like pre-orders and stuff like that, and like incentivize pre-orders and stuff like that. But so now it's just doing sales, and that's just learning.
How's that going?
It's like a challenge, but you know what I mean?
A challenge is the good
I
word
appreciate
for
the
it.
challenge.
Yeah.
Yeah, I also love the concept of being like well-rounded. So I want to learn more about the industry. Obviously going into the industry, you learn that there is way more to it. Than just selling weed over the phone. There's a whole.
Is that all you're doing right now? It's like kind of cold calling people?
No, that's what I was doing.
Okay,
5 years ago.
Yeah.
But like now that I'm like more like on this other like operating side, like I can see things way different.
Yeah.
There's a whole.
It's a lot. It's very involved in in the showing up and doing the demos and everything.
Yeah, exactly.
Are you having to do all the demos and everything too? Oh wow, they got you. They got you working for sure. That's tough having. I know a lot of reps that have to do that, and it's some work.
Yeah, but I also appreciate too. It's my first time going out and stores and like doing demos at like Pocket and stuff, and I do really appreciate just so being on that side to understand what it's like, what it takes, know what they need to like be able to like create that list, like this is an essentials box, like what we would need for any type of pop-up type, you know what I mean? And helping figure out that, build that structure and like allow it to be like.
Yeah, you get to see all the different stores and how they all run and the customers that come in and how
different it is.
Yeah, how different it is and see little details.
Fun.
Yeah.
I enjoy like going to a pop-up shop. Like, hey.
If you're a nosy person, it's right up that person's alley because you get to go like, what's going on here?
All the tea, all the bag stuff that people are doing.
The bartenders start talking to you. No, I'm not supposed to talk to you, but that guy's a jerk. But no, but it's fun. Yeah, no, I love it when VAs come through. Like we get to have fun conversations, and it's nice too because then when you go to like two events, like especially like the industry ones, like Hall of Flowers or something, it's like you already know everybody because you've like literally worked around them, which is also really like just back to the events. It's like it is when now that you're like on this side of it, like you can see the value even more probably in events and things like that because it's like we have to get together like all together.
Exactly. Just like that's not now like before when I was doing just events for like Humber like delivery, we didn't really have much value at the time for like bartender appreciation. You know what I mean? Yeah. But like now we're just like how we have our products and stuff like that. Like we want them to try our products because they're the ones actually selling them in the stores.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so like that's why we started doing like an event called like 422. So save the date, April 22nd.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So it's like a 422. It's like our 422 because like 420 we're working our freaking ass off, serving everybody.
Yeah, I've heard of this. It's like an industry. It's like an industry 420, right? Yeah, it's for us that work in the industry. Yeah.
So, but So just like doing those kinds of events, and also too, like I also am very passionate about like community events. So it's like, how can I merge the two together?
Yeah.
You know, and so that's why I have like Fortunate Feast, doing things like Fortunate Feast. And Fortunate Feast, it's like a community distribution during the holidays with like just hundreds of free things, you know. And before, when COVID first hit, like I was trying to find organizations to donate masks and hand sanitizer to, and I was getting denied because we're a cannabis company.
Yeah.
You know, and I was like, that sucks. I want to help too.
Yep. No.
You know what I mean? I was like,
no, I remember all the extraction companies. Remember, they were like helping out by like making hand sanitizer for everybody and was like sending it out to like all the dispensaries and stuff. Yeah, I still have like hand sanitizer, like from Herbal, like all these older brands from back then. Like like they sent out a hand sanitizer. It was kind of cool, you know.
Yeah.
They're trying to do their part for the dispensaries because we don't get a lot of that like helpful aid stuff for workers because we're weed. They're like, you guys are over there on your own island. Take care of yourselves. Right. And we're like, man, come on. like, so,
so just get everyone out, you know, and like getting us out of our like own weed world and like really applying ourselves into like the real world too is like really, really cool. And just showing us like we're more than just donors and we're not just for ourselves and just for people who smoke. You know?
It's going into the mainstream. So I think that's where the next, you know, direction is you're bringing people together and you're like showing people like this is weed that wouldn't normally have access to that information, or you know, you're able to touch different kinds of groups and different communities like that too. So
I really do love that. Like I'm like the, you know, the weed person that people ask in like all my different little worlds, you know, whether it's my family or like my other friends or just like, you know, and like I also appreciate that I'm bilingual. Like I speak Vietnamese fluently. So I'm able to like explain like cannabis in Vietnamese to my family, like, and so
that's gotta be fun.
Yeah, it is fun. I'm like, oh, that's kind of cool.
You should make some like informative videos like in Vietnamese.
I should.
Yeah, you'd probably be a very rare person that could actually do that. You know, like I really understand it. Like not just be like trying to translate something, but actually be able to find the right words because it's different, right? Like it's you can't really just say like this word's this word. It's different. Yeah.
But then like I even like learned like there are like cannabis articles in Vietnamese and Vietnam and stuff like that. I learned how to say cannabis in Vietnamese. Like it's like
Vietnamese people grow a lot of weed.
Right, exactly.
I mean. Yeah.
In your culture, you have a lot of like herbal plants and different like things that you guys use.
Yeah, you guys eat a lot of like plant stuff.
Yeah, we love vegetable based. A lot of our main dishes are like vegetable based.
I hate to say it, but I watch a lady online that she moved to Germany. She's like, and she's funny. But it's how she like intervened. But she's really funny. But like she just shows like the different food culture, and it's there's like lots of like leaves and like lettuces and like fresh, very fresh food, very fresh. Everything's fresh.
I love Vietnamese food. I don't think I'm biased, and I love my mom.
No, I love
Vietnamese. I also don't think I'm biased. I love her food so much. Like I started a food like cooking food page for her on Instagram.
Oh,
it's Huynh_hungry. So hungry. Yeah,
that's a plug.
Like it's really cute. Like it's like she sends me her videos of like after she finishes cooking, or like, you know, clips of her when she's like cooking.
Yeah,
and I'll translate it, so I'll put it in Vietnamese.
Oh, how cool!
Yeah, so I'll just like I'll write it there myself.
No, Vietnamese food's fire. Yeah,
and those recipes, like you're documenting those recipes so that you can.
Do you know how to cook? Do you know?
I'm learning.
Okay,
I am learning. Yeah,
you gotta learn. Don't let that.
Nobody can make it better than mom. You know what I mean? It's like, but I am learning. Like I'm like going to the grocery. I'm buying the ingredients, and that's like that way I know what to get.
It's gotta be hard to source that kind of food around here, right?
Oh no, actually, no. Sacramento actually has like a huge Vietnamese population. If you go to Little Saigon, there's like it's Stockton Boulevard. Like it's a whole like Vietnamese community.
I'll have to go down there. I did not know that. Interesting. Stockton's full of little mysteries that you don't expect.
Not Stockton, California, but Stockton Boulevard in Sacramento.
In Sacramento. My bad. Okay, I always get that mixed up.
But also in Stockton too. There's a lot of Vietnamese people out there too.
Oh, it's interesting. Yeah.
But it's like, but you know, they just everyone just loves weed.
Yeah, for sure.
I sure do.
Yeah, I mean, no.
Like some people who don't know that they love weed, you know, like also too, since I have such a big family, we have, you know, teens who are become adults who are curious. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? And who are they going to ask? Their trusted
older
guy.
the older one that's gonna bring them into weed. But they're gonna grow up without it being illegal. It's just like a thing like alcohol, though. It's like, hey, you gotta wait till you're 21, you know, or unless you get a medical card, whatever, you know, which is basically like you really want to smoke. But yeah, like it's gonna be so different for them.
Yeah,
so different for them.
And it's so amazing for them. I'm happy for them that they have someone they can trust, who they can ask, and they feel comfortable and not feel like, you know what I mean.
But even if they did, they're gonna go to a dispensary now.
Yeah.
Like they're not gonna go to some weird guy down the street, that,
right?
you know.
But like smoking it at home though, like, you know what
yeah.
I mean? Like we would not have been able to smoke at grandma's house.
No, but grandma doesn't care now.
No.
Oh,
yeah. Now they're down. Like we can smoke together, like in the backyard, like we don't have to hide it. You know what I mean? Like just showing, just like, and like some people are like, oh, I'm scared because of my parent. I'm like, I'm gonna show you how to stand up to your parents.
Yeah, it's
Because if they're already pouring you liquor shots, like alcohol shots, that means, you know what I mean? Like, let's
it's
be real.
it's yeah, exactly. Weed's so
much.
nothing like alcohol.
Yes, exactly.
At
I'm
all.
just like, okay, look,
Yeah,
that's where we.
I agree.
Yeah.
Anyways, so
Everyday part of life.
Yeah.
So,
do you ever see yourself trying to grow weed?
Yeah, I try.
Oh, what happened?
They die.
Oh,
I don't know. Maybe I'm not doing it well. I'm not paying enough attention. But Brandon grows.
okay.
And so he's actually moving to Sacramento, and so.
Oh, he doesn't currently live out here.
No.
Oh,
Yeah. And so, like, he, like, grows really well. Like, he loves smoking his flowers. So
Nice.
it's like, I really, really want to learn. Like,
That's so perfect. What are the likelihoods that you would beat somebody from the South? And it's super illegal over there still.
yeah, exactly. And I was like, you love weed and you want to grow it? This is a great place to do that. I was like, hey, I know a spot.
Yeah, I know where you can grow some weed, man. Yeah,
literally,
for sure.
You can definitely do.
That's so funny.
That's a real golden ticket, right?
Yeah,
Like, literally
you're the
just-
golden ticket, right? To Weedland, you know. I mean, yeah, for sure. I mean, we're like a mecca for those kids over there on the East Coast. Like California is like the mecca.
I'm curious how different like weed is in different states, and like I want to like sample, you know, different ones just to see or like compare side by side. Like this came from like.
I'd like to seek out their top
Missouri?
shelves. Like I go find like the more expensive stuff in somewhere just to see what it looks like. And it always surprises me what people like value as top shelf over there versus like what we value over here. Like not even that. It's just like our quality of like the best is like way up here, and like mid tier for us is like a lot of their top shelf over there. Yeah. And it's like $80 an eighth.
No.
Yeah. So like my dad lives in England, and it's really expensive there too, but they're starting to like open up a culture of it, so like they're passing medical and stuff. But yeah, over there it's like stupid expensive. Like distillate carts go for like $40 over there. It's crazy town.
That's why
it's crazy
how to
town.
grow their own.
That's
the way to go. You know what I mean?
Well, the reason I was going to ask if you've ever grown is because I have a friend who's shout out Lucy Hashco Seed Co. But they make auto seeds, and I have a bunch of packs that they've given me if you would like to try some. And they're auto flowers, so they're really easy
like
little plants.
In the yard.
Say that.
Auto just does its thing on its own.
Okay, not auto.
Automatic.
It's not a car wash. No. It just drives through, it just produces buds. Not really, no. But what it is that they won't get very big. They stay like little, so they're good for like people like, do you live in a house or like an apartment? Or you have like a yard and stuff. Then
I have beds that I used to grow vegetables in. I used to grow my own kale before I had my own smoothies, but
good for you. Yeah, well that'll be good for the you put it out there. But anyways, they'll stay small. They won't get very big, and they automatically just go into flower like when they hit a certain age. So they're just like easygoing little plants. Basically, they don't get big, massive things that you have to like prune and tape down and anchor up and like get ready for the storms coming in the winter. Like you can just like put them out there, and they'll finish in like I think it's like 96 days, like they'll finish up basically, and you can harvest them. So you can put them out in the early springtime or summertime and have some of your own little weeds. Yeah. So I'll get you some of those. So yeah. Well, I like that. I like giving people genetic seeds. I think that's another thing with weed is like there's a lot of community of like
seed
sharing.
Collecting is a thing. Like people collect like their different stashes.
I have like 2 cigar boxes. I keep it all in a cigar box because it's good humidity. But I have tons of seeds. I've got seeds that I've had for 15 years now. Like,
do they like not able? Can you still grow them later?
Yeah, yeah, they do hold life. I mean, obviously, a seed that's 5 years old is much more viable than a 75-year-old seed, but it is still possible. There's little techniques, like people will line like this is weird, but like a film roll. You'd line it with like some sandpaper, and you can like shake the seed around in there, and it kind of shaves off the exterior, so it helps like the inner side like come out and moisture get to it. And so that's like a way to deal with like an old seed. You can soak them, but yeah, I mean the earlier the better. But like I said, it's like when you buy seeds to like save for like the end of the world, you know, apocalyptic seeds. You're like, you know,
shit. Like
seed collecting is a thing.
Yeah,
like
I have whole seeds at home. You should, yeah. I'm a little bit of a weirdo. I like the end of the world idea. I guess it's because I've been through a hurricane and like 2 house fires personally, so I'm very like a prepared type person. So yeah, I have a stash of seeds.
It's the end of the world or revolution. So like revolution happens,
shit's going down. Yeah, I got the seeds. I even have like a little drug box that I have like stuff that I wouldn't do on a regular basis, but I keep for like just in case something goes down, because I'm like, I don't know, what if I've got to walk for like 50 miles? I'm doing a couple lines of cocaine. We're getting out of here. You know, like I'm just saying, you know, or it's like nuclear bomb's gonna hit us in an hour. Like we're taking some Molly. Like we're gonna dance it into nuclear bomb. You know. I don't know. That's just my.
That's the way.
So I like to prepare for any situation, you know.
Yeah, better to better to stay ready so you don't have to get ready.
That's right. That's right. That is right. I like to stay ready instead of getting ready. Do not like getting ready. Oh boy. Yeah, actually, I just had to buy a new house panel for my house because the breakers were all bad and they weren't tripping right. And like the guy was like, yeah, it's like arcing behind the panel, which means it could have had a house fire. And I'm like, yeah, here, take my money. Like, I do not need a house fire. Like,
it's goodness fixed. Yeah, we're like ASAP.
We're not gonna. Yeah, let's. He's like, I mean, I could just turn it off. You could live without the power. I'm like, no, let's just take care of that right now. So yeah, no, you gotta be aware of situations and be prepared all the time. So no, I like I said, I just, you know, like you said, stay ready and gotta get ready.
Yeah. That's also, you know, with events too and work, and that's always now as I'm in this new role, I'm trying to think of like, you know, strategies, like actually intentionally, you know, do things like how we, you know, support each other, because that's literally what it is. Like we all just make one big cool thing.
Yeah, you know? I think sales is 100% about relationships. It's about cultivating relationships with people that you can trust, that you can rely on, that you can rely on them, they can rely on you, that you can work together, you know, and make sure that the customer is getting, you know, exactly for what they paid for, that they're happy, that there's going to continue to be sell-through. I mean, sell-through is the number one like problem in the industry is that your product can be selling one week and the next week nobody wants to buy it. Can't tell you why. They won't tell you why. Like it's just stuck, you know, and trying to solve that issue is very difficult. And I think what's great about you giving product to bud tenders is that if they will be honest with you, and you should encourage them to be honest with you, that if it sucks, tell me it sucks, you know. And I think that can help a lot of brands navigate the troubleshooting problems that they might learn a year from now. Like learn that stuff now, because especially with the vapes, oh my god, like vapes probably bring in the smallest amount of revenue, but they are the most sold product, right? Like, so when you look at your analytics, like you're like looking at the amount of money you're making, it's like flower always wins because people are spending more per eighth typically than they are on vapes. Vapes are like $20, $30. People want inexpensive things. Like selling a $60 cart, like it's going to hang out on your shelves for a while. It's not going to be moving that quick, right? Because it's just a different customer. But that vape customer, you know, they rely on that thing. I mean, it's their whoopee. If it's not working, they are mad. And a lot of people, like, it's money's
those
tight.
Returns are a big one.
Oh, it's tough. They get so mad.
Because it's like also like your fault. There's a.
It's my fault. Come back.
They had to come back.
Yeah.
Oh,
were you storing it properly? You know what I mean?
And you can't and I feel like the storing it property, I feel like is a brand's. I hate to say it, but as a retailer, I feel like it's a lazy answer from a brand because the customer shouldn't have to do anything with your $20 vape. Right now, if they went and spent $75 on a half gram from 710, sure, like that's the customer that you can be like, no, you're buying the $75 half gram. You're going to want to keep it upright and preserve it and not hit it too long. And that customer is like, okay, cool. But the guy that's like the truck driver who's, not the truck drivers don't even smoke, but just the average blue collar guy that's smoking vapes, like he just wants that thing to work every single time and doesn't want to have to worry about if it's upright or if it's not gotten too hot, so I think that's the one thing in the vape world that I want to see like fixed a little bit is like, hey, let's make it easier for the customer. We don't want to have to make them work hard. We want to make it easier for them because the easier it is for them, the more likely they'll buy your product. So
and that's how I also want to like shift the events too. Also instead of only doing bud tender events, we started doing like
public
the events that we like specifically send invitations to like customers and invite them to like a private event for just them, and like we did at the Pineapple Store too, and it was really cool, and just like had like a roll bar and just and just treated them like.
I had an event this year reach out and was like, hey, we want to give your store 10 tickets for friends and family to come to an event and 10 tickets for your superstar customers, like the ones you're seeing all the time. And we would like you to just, offer it to them. If they don't want to go, pick somebody else. But definitely like we want to encourage, you to bring your friends and family and your superstar customers to this event because we want to expose them to things. And I was like, that's
nice.
That was very smart. Yeah. Very smart because
a little party, like merch. Just create a party with the people that you like,
are around every day, because now the brands are getting able to target directly to that customer that's consuming their product instead of it just being people who enjoy weed. It's like, it's like these people come to the club, right? Like they're buying the products, like they're the ones exposed to it because let's be fair, not everybody who consumes cannabis is buying it from a retailer. There's still a mass production of people that are buying it off the streets, right? Like, and that's not the customer you want going to your event because that is not going to equal dollar signs for those brands being there. You want the ones that are coming in here every day. So it was a very smart move for them. But anyways, and then those customers came back all excited to try it and come here and like they were like, we saw this product there and we really liked it. And I was like, cool, and then I had a couple other people, and so then I was like, all right, I'm gonna have to bring this brand in, like even though like I didn't want to, it wasn't like my choice, but customer wanted it, they got exposed to it, and now I got to comply, so in a way that gives the brands a little bit more power at the dispensaries because it's like, what are you going to do, say no to your customers? They like my product, you have to carry it now, and you're like, no, but okay, fine. Are the margins at least built in? Like,
right, and the answer is yes.
I love that.
That's interesting that they did that to a store that they weren't on the shelf with already, and then like got your customers to connect with
that's how people did it at the Pineapple Store. That's how we got them at Humble Root. They just did an event.
We're just an event,
and that can inspire you, and that you're like, yes, let's do it. Like, let's get together
and show like it's possible. Like even you, like you are so inspiring. Like even you too. Like just doing it everything with like
dope people.
Mindy does a lot for sure. I told Mindy when we first started working together that if I would have known all the things she does, I probably would have been too intimidated to ask her to be my co-host this show with me. But I'm glad I did because I think that her and I make really good, kind of co-hosts together in this world. Like you were talking about your dice game earlier. It's like I don't know anybody else who knows about that game, and it's like it's because, we grew up in a kind of similar way, with being on the street and using weed to help us and get us out of the scrambles. And here we are now. And it's a beautiful story, So weed has done wonderful things for, I think, all three of us. And it's really great to sit down and, like you said, talk with other ladies that fucking get it. They fucking get it,
That's also why I love, like, Grown Women Good Weed too, like my dad had just been diagnosed and I was just, had just lost Justin. Also my pup rescue of like 15 years, like of old age. And I was like, so like my bed feels so empty. Like it just was so like, it was just, I was like, what do I like? So I was like, I gotta get outside, and then finding, it's Katie. She like sent me a DM. She like followed my page, like watched my story and like saw it. She was just like, oh, like, you know what I mean? She just felt for me, and she invited me.
Oh, thank you.
And the very first ever Grown Women Good Weed event was in her backyard. Like she opened up her house and just invited up sent out special invitations to people in the industry at different stores, different BAs and
That's
stuff like that.
That's so special.
Yeah.
So special.
It's really nice.
The day I met CP, like I came late because I was coming from the Fortune Feast event, right? And they had like assigned seating for everybody, like with our name, like our Instagrams, like written on there, like on wood cut out weed leaves. It was so fucking cute, and it was really cute. And I was like, oh my god, this is so cool. But like,
ladies obviously put this event on.
Exactly. That's exactly what it is, because like we started as like girls only event, but now like guys come too, but like they just see like a girl put.
There's another caliber here.
Yeah, or like a girl's definitely a girl. Yeah, so and it was really cool. But yeah, like that was my very first day meeting like a bunch of people I just fucking love being around now. Being in a room literally and people who just care about it and love it as much as you do. Like it was just really cool, and like we want to keep recreating that for other people. You know what I mean? Like we've done events where there's like moms that come in, like.
Yeah.
And they, they don't want to be around people, make them feel like they're a bad parent and stuff like that.
It's so healing to be in this. We were talking about the stoner circle earlier, like in the circles where all the magic happens.
Yeah.
And that's why, I do think that the lounges are so important because it just bring people together, because it sucks to have something or want to do something and then it's like, oh, well, then you can't smoke weed. It's like, hey.
I love it. I see it happen all the time in the Delta Boys Lounge, where I will be showing somebody how to like use an e-nail, and like there's already somebody back there smoking a joint, and like that person they'll be like, hey, what's up, and it's like next thing you know I come back and it's like they're sitting there, their session, they're chatting and like sharing each other's Instagram. Now they're best friends. They're like, bro, you come here often? Like, are you smoking here on Thursdays regularly? And they're like, yeah, I stop here on my way home work. Now these guys are like, and gals, everybody is like building a new relationship, an adult relationship with weed, and friends out of that. And it's really cool to see that happen in a raw, like these people don't know each other, like they've never met each other before, and like that lounge experience brought them together and they got to share a really cool afternoon. It's so cool.
They both love the same thing.
Yeah. They're back there playing video games together. It's super funny. They're like, bro, did we just become best friends? And I was like,
that's literally.
Like, this is so funny. Like I'm going back in the store. Like, you guys have fun back here. Like, this place, I have dudes that cry sometimes. Let's be fair. There's mostly dudes that smoke weed. Like, I see more guys per day than I see ladies. That's just the reality of it. But dudes that are like, they come out of the lounge sometimes and they're like tearing up because they're like, this place like gives us something, and it's like, because a lot of people can't smoke at their house. I can't smoke at my house, my girl, with the kids. A lot of people have kids, and it's like, you have kids at your house, like you can't.
We smoke in the sunroom now, so
right.
I was like, all right, get
it
together, bro.
Yeah, exactly. But we have a sunroom that I smoke in as well, because that's the compromise, but yeah, it provides just like this great space. So I'm so looking forward to seeing Sacramento like evolve that and see where it goes for Sac City, because I think that that community really wants it. I think San Francisco, LA, Sacramento, like Eureka, these are some of these like major hotspots of weed. Santa Rosa area, Santa Cruz, will say, like they're kind of like really like hotspots. It's like They all need that for their community, and it'll help the brand. It'll help everybody, honestly, having people come together. It'll help grow everybody because the sharing and the evolving of what we like and don't like will help come out. And I'm really looking forward to seeing how it changes everything. So, and I also think that like these bad players in the industry, like that information is going to get sharing around more. You know what I mean? Like
rotten fruit will fall by itself.
Yeah, so, but yeah.
Gonna keep doing me. Everyone's just gonna keep doing them.
That's a good saying. I like that.
Yeah,
this is really greasy. What is this?
Zope. My cadre.
The first time I ever had Zope, Bruno gave me a roll, and it was Zope flower from Deep East with Zope rosin, and they had put Zope terps on it. So it was like Zope on Zope on Zope. The Zope is Zope you'll ever smoke. Shout out to Bruno for that. And that was the first time I ever smoked Zope, and it got me so fucking high that, I mean, I started sweating while we were smoking a joint, and I was like sweating. I was like, whoo, like this is some stuff right here. But I think it was all like the terps, like the hash with like the terps and everything. Because it was Zope, but it was like Zope. Like, I mean, it's Zope as you could ever imagine Zope to be. I'm not kidding. It was so Zopey. I know you think Zope, but it's so Zope. Like, yeah. This is good, but see how greasy it is? Yeah. Imagine that, like, times 10, Anywho, so, well, it has been a blast of a conversation with you, Diana. You've shared a wonderful portion of your life, for sure, with everybody, and I greatly appreciate you doing so.
Thank you for listening.
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing.
Yeah, it's a good story, for sure. Keep sharing it, for sure. It's a good story. I think there's probably other ladies out there, maybe there's a little Vietnamese girl that wants to be in weed, and she finds your story, and it helps uplift her. That's my hopes for all these podcasts, is that some little girl somewhere sees like, oh, I can have a future in this, So.
We need representation.
Yeah.
Right? Like, we need to be seen.
Yep, exactly.
When I see my little cousins,
yeah.
When they look at like yo, like she's like out here changing, helping change the rules.
Yeah,
you know what I mean, creating the world like we're gonna be living in.
Yeah, and you're gonna help inspire that. Yeah, it's cool. It's cool to see them like take the ball and like run it a little bit, right? Like you've carried it so far, and like they're like, I got it. Like
passing there you go. Passing the ball, passing the lighter.
Passing the torch. Yeah, the passing of the torch. Exactly. So I love it. So what's your Instagram again?
Huynh High, HUYNH_high.
Perfect. Well, that was my video that just died. This has been a fun, wild podcast. Cool. There's lots going on in this podcast. So if you're still listening, we really appreciate you coming all the way to the end of our show. And please follow Miss Diana on her page. She's always doing really fun events. So if you're in the Sacramento area, or if you come up to the Sacramento area, she's usually got something fun for you to do that includes cannabis. And we hope all of you have a beautiful day. And make sure to give us a follow and a like and comments and reviews. They really help us grow the channel so that we can get to a higher place in the platform of the internet. And you guys all have a great day. Thank you.
Until next time.